Damn, this gun's melty, man. That's insane. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scared Soldier back with another Borderlands 3 video, and in today's video we are going to be looking at the brand new DAL SMG called the Blood-Starved Beast. What a cool name for a sick gun, because this thing is a monster when it comes to DPS. It has a ton of fire rate, good mag size, good accuracy, and awesome reload time as well as damage. Now, this is probably one of my favorite guns from the DLC number 4. Keep in mind, we're not going to spoil the DLC for you. We're just going to tell you the name of the enemy you're going to want to farm. We're not going to put any footage to respect those who do not have the DLC yet. But we do have the Sentinel Cryo anointment on our weapon because we are going to be testing this gun on Zane. And Sentinel Cryo is one of the best anointments for Zane. But if you do use this gun on another character, I recommend things like consecutive hits, next 2 mags, 5150, or even splash damage is all good choices. Now, for your class mod, you're going to want to add things like DAL weapon critical damage, SMG damage, and also weapon critical damage or some sort of splash damage to make the gun even better. And also on your artifact, you're going to want to add things like SMG damage. If you're Zane, movement speed. If not, I would say even mag size is also a great choice, and area of effect damage. Now, we're going to take a look at this gun in a ton of footage because we want to showcase the gun as best as we possibly can to you guys, because this is a beastly weapon, and that's why it's called the Blood-Starved Beast. So let's go ahead and check out the footage right now. So we're going to be warming up our shots on some normal mobs, and then we are going to be going to some end game content, of course, to do the ultimate test on the weapon, which will end up being the Guardian takedown, and you're going to see a couple of bosses along the way. Now, for starters, guys, I did want to address that when I first saw this weapon, it was one of my favorites automatically because I knew with the DPS and the overall damage output of the gun, it had super potential, especially on pretty much any character, especially Moze, because she also can do a lot of splash damage with her builds. But with Zane is great with DAL weapons because DAL weapons normally have great stats overall, such as DPS stats, like I mentioned earlier, with the fire rate, the reload speed, and all that kind of stuff, and the damage included, is all good things for Zane as well. So this is a fantastic gun overall for all the characters in general. Now, if you guys want to know some more specifics of the weapon, it can come in any element except kinetic, so that's a good thing. We have all the elements of the gun available for us. And also with this weapon, it can come in a ×2 or a ×3 format, which is also amazing because right now I'm using the ×2, and you guys can tell that the ×2 is shredding enemies, so imagine the ×3, it wouldn't even be fair. Now, also, there isn't going to be a spoiler alert in terms of the name of the enemy, but not actual footage of the enemy. So I'll give you a couple seconds if you don't want to hear the name. Here's your chance to skip ahead, but we're going to name the enemy right now that you have to go for this weapon to be farmed, and that enemy is called Evil Lilith. Now, Evil Lilith will have a chance of dropping the Starved Beast overall, and if you guys are having some trouble killing her, because I heard that some people have trouble, I didn't, honestly. I killed her in probably 2 shots with my Zane, but I could post a video on how to kill her real quick if you guys want. But anyways, that's the enemy you guys are going to have to farm in order to get this awesome weapon. Now, also with this weapon, of course, the penetrating projectiles are another feature of the weapon. So if you shoot an enemy, sometimes you're going to feel like those bullets are not impacting the enemy whatsoever, and that's because the bullets actually pass through the enemy right away. So if there's an enemy directly behind one of the targets you are shooting, the bullets will also reach the target behind the enemy. So that's a pretty cool feature of the weapon. Now, there's also a chance that this weapon can proc splash damage. So for those who are unfamiliar with the character Moze, Moze has a perk in her skill tree called Short Fuse. Now, Short Fuse has a chance of giving you an additional chance of getting like some sort of splash damage, a 20% chance at that, and it's a percentage of the damage she does. Now, this weapon also is similar to that because you have a chance of proccing splash damage along with your shots, and that splash damage causes a ton of damage overall. So this weapon paired with Moze's Short Fuse is almost as if you have Short Fuse running for a long time, since these two are really good together. Now, another thing with this weapon that I love, especially on Zane, is the movement. Of course, it's an SMG, so your mobility of the weapon is fantastic. You aim down sights really good, and of course, overall, the gun is solid for mobbing. and of course bossing. Now one thing I do have to say about the gun is because it's such a high powered, high DPS weapon with a good fire rate, you're going to be eating ammo quite quickly. For Moze, fortunately enough, she has enough ways to regen ammo to the point where you can really not have much time reloading the gun. But if you use pretty much any other character in the game, you will be finding yourself reloading the gun quite frequently. But honestly, it's not a big deal because first of all, the reload time is quite good, and also you do have a pretty big enough mag size in order to sustain a good amount of shots before you do have to reload overall. Now, the weapon can also come in a couple of firing modes as well. So it can come in full auto mode or also semi-auto mode, and then finally burst rifle mode. So the burst obviously is going to shoot in burst, so 3 shots a proper burst weapon would do. And then of course semi-auto would shoot a single shot with the tap of your trigger, and then of course full auto is full auto. Now there's not necessarily a mode in particular that's better, just whatever fits your playstyle. I always look full auto, it's just simpler to use, but burst fire is also good if you do want to be accurate, and then of course for the most accuracy, semi-auto is going to be your best bet. But of course, the less projectiles you shoot with the weapon per shot, the less your DPS is going to go down. Now overall, you guys see we did a lot of content already in the game so far. We've done the proving grounds, we've done the guardian takedown quite effectively, and we also are going to be going to see another boss in a second. That boss is going to be Anathema. We're going to see the kind of damage we can get. And if you guys notice, since we can kill the guardians quite easily with this gun, and keep in mind we're using radiation. Now radiation is not bad against shields, but shock is actually a lot better. Just for an example, shock versus shields. Shock provides 250% extra bonus damage versus shields. Radiation gives you 150% bonus damage versus shields. So again, we're missing 100% more potential damage that shock can do versus radiation against those blue bars. But anyways, we're still doing a ton of damage. And I did want to also address one more thing for those Zane players, because I have tested this gun on the clone, and the clone, of course, no surprise, the clone absolutely wrecks with this gun, and I find the clone does a ton of splash damage at the same time too, and can wipe out a lot of mobs for you. So again, that's a plus. So overall, my critique on the weapon, guys, is that this is one of the best SMGs in the game by far. The reason I say that is because it offers so much for all the characters, first of all. So build versatility is there. It's not just one weapon that can fit one character and all the other characters will not be able to use it. That is not true. All the characters can use this gun and do well with it. This gun is also extremely mobile and has a lot of DPS. So for those who love to do a lot of damage, this gun is also for you. Now, this gun also offers a bit of splash damage as well, and the splash damage is one of the unique properties that make the weapon itself extremely amazing. And then finally, what I would say about farming the weapon. Now, some people may find the farm a little tedious depending on how much skill they have, because Lilith can get annoying. I have to admit, when I first encountered her, I'm like, wow, that immunity phase is annoying. She moves around a lot, but it's not a big deal. I'm going to show you guys how to kill her. If you want, just let me know. And if you guys also want, we will be dropping our level 65 Zane build that we are using currently right now in this video, if you guys want. And in order for us to drop that build, I want you guys to smash that like button. We want 100 likes on this video, and then I will drop the entire build for you guys as I do, and I got a ton of builds coming up on the channel. So overall, do I recommend you guys farm this gun? Hell yeah, this is one of the best SMGs in the game. It's top 3 in my opinion, next to the redistributor. It's probably a little bit better than the smog, depends on your build, but the smog is also really good. But this gun's fire rate absolutely shreds with the splash damage, so I would say this gun is possibly better than the smog even. So it's up there with the redistributor, the smog, and of course the super beast is right there. So that's all debatable, and you guys can also list some of your favorite SMGs that you like to mess around with. But that's pretty much it. You guys see in the gameplay, we absolutely shredding. Now, we did have a little less luck with Wotan, because again, unfortunately, Wotan, keep in mind, he's resistant against cryo, guys. So basically, we're doing a lot less damage versus Wotan because we're using cryo, which is quite unfortunate. So if we had corrosive on this weapon, we would have absolutely obliterated Wotan. So don't worry about that. But if you guys didn't know, yes, Wotan is completely resistant. Quite resistant, excuse me, against cryo, so that's why we're not doing as much damage as we should. But I didn't care. I wanted to try to rip him down as much as possible, and that's what we did anyways. I think we did a good job. So that's pretty much it for the video, guys. If you liked it, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one. It's your boy Scare Soldier signing out. Peace.